What's going on, guys? John Kelly here. I am out at the Red River Gorge right now, and I am getting ready to just do 3 days of just relaxation. I'm here at the Oxier Ridge trailhead, getting ready to head on the trail. And today I want to talk to you guys about gear that kind of changed the game for me, gear that kind of made a drastic difference in how I backpack. And so as we hike along and as I'm on this trip, I'm going to share some of those things with you guys and let you know the gear that changed the game for me. Let's get into it. Now, the first piece of gear that I want to talk about today is one that a lot of people use, maybe not this brand in particular, but those are insoles for your trail runners. Now, for me, that is the Tread Labs Pace insole. I've been using those now for over 2 years, and I cannot tell you how much of a difference they have made on my feet. When I did the Sheltoe Trace, I got blister after blister after blister. I would have nights of horrible foot pain, and I was not using any insole at all at that point. If I would have known then what I know now about insoles and how much they can help support your feet and how much they can help prevent blisters, I would have had those things from the beginning. I have a huge high arch, and there is not a single shoe made that has an insole that works with my high arch. So being able to have an insole that takes care of my feet the way they need to be taken care of is a huge plus, and I wish I would have known about those early on. And now that I do, I will never go out without an insole in my shoe. And the next piece of gear, which really I don't think it's a piece of gear as much as it's a part of a piece of gear, those are heel locks on your trail runners. Obviously, feet are a big deal when you're out in the backcountry, and for me, obviously, with talking about insoles and now talking about the heel locks, you guys are picking up kind of a trend for me, and that's taking care of my feet. I've dealt with blisters and sore feet and all of these things for so long, and when I discovered heel locks, heel blisters just went away completely. For those who don't understand what heel locks are, they're simply those little extra holes that you have for your shoelaces on your trail runners or your hiking shoes. And the way those work is you just simply run your laces through both holes and then run the laces through each other, essentially locking your heels in place on your shoes. And in doing that, you prevent any blistering that could happen by rubbing or your heels moving as you're hiking. I know when I first discovered these were with my Mad River TRs that I first got. The heels moved constantly. They never stopped moving, and I used to get so frustrated. And that's when somebody says, "Have you tried the heel locks yet?" I genuinely had no idea what they were talking about. And then when I figured them out, it was legitimately a game changer for me. And so for any of you who are trying to figure out how to get away from getting those heel blisters, start using the heel locks on your shoes. It'll make a huge difference, and it will make blistering on your heels a thing of the past. Hey guys, real quick, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor for today's video, and that is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with an amazing amount of classes put on by some really cool people who are experts in so many different areas. You can explore all kinds of crazy skills and dive into your own personal creativity. If you're somebody who is interested in starting your own YouTube channel, there are some incredible videos by MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee. He is a genius at putting together YouTube videos and has grown a YouTube empire of his own. If you're somebody who's really wanting to delve into doing that, his videos have been fantastic for me. It doesn't matter what you're interested in, whether it's cooking or managing your own business or starting some kind of a new side hustle. Skillshare has everything you need for that. And when you subscribe, you get access to thousands of classes that could take you where you want to go. So if you're interested in a new hobby or even a new career, Skillshare is the place. And to the first 1,000 subscribers who click on the link below, you will get a free 1-month trial membership of Skillshare, just to go out and explore your own creativity. Thank you so much, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. When I first got started backpacking, I was like everybody else. I brought wet wipes to help, clean up after doing the big 2, or to just clean up at the end of the day to get dirt off of my feet to prevent blisters, to just kind of get the stank off at the end of the day. And then I discovered these little pellets called Wissy wipes. they became a huge deal for me because anything that you carry that is wet is going to have extra weight to it because of the moisture. So if you can get your hands on something that's dried out, that you literally just have to add the slightest bit of water to rehydrate it and use that as your wet wipe, that is a phenomenal option. And so for me, finding these little Wissy wipes, seriously, Wissy wipes is a really weird name, and they're way more durable than regular wet wipes. Regular wet wipes, they tend to fall apart as you're using them a lot of times. Wissy wipes really do stay together. They're rugged and they do a great job. And quite honestly, I never go on any trips without them at this point. The next piece of gear for me that was a game changer for getting out into the woods and really enjoying backpacking was getting my hands on a chair. Now, I didn't use these for the first year I was out backpacking. I kind of thought it was wasted weight, that it was something I wasn't really gonna need. And quite honestly, I just thought it was a lot of money for something that is just gonna make hiking way more difficult. But about halfway through the Sheltowee Trace, I got my hands on a backpacking chair and I never turned back. Since that time, I've only taken one trip without it. It was a trip that made me very angry because everybody else had their chairs. They were sitting comfortably and I was trying to find logs and rocks and places where I could sit. And truthfully, it was miserable. And I'll never do that again. When I've been hiking miles, I don't really want to sit on the ground and try and get up at the end of the day. I'd rather sit in a chair that's up off the ground so I can relax, recline, and just wind down from the end of the day. Backpacking chairs are awesome. And the one I have in particular, you've probably heard me talk about before. I call it my Helinox Chair Point 5. It's about 1.5 pounds and it is worth every ounce. I will take it on every trip. And I would definitely say that backpacking chairs are a definite game changer for me and something that, quite honestly, I can't imagine going on a trip without at this point. Another piece of gear that's not going to surprise anybody is my Zoleo satellite communicator. It's a piece of gear that I've been using now for a little over a year, and it has just given me such comfort being out on the trail. I would say that it would be wise for anybody to have one of these out on the trail with them. You never know when you're gonna need a dependable source of communication to get a hold of somebody outside of camp. And you never know when somebody outside of camp is gonna need to get a hold of you. So definitely check out the Zoleo. I'll definitely leave a link below for that. And if you're not into the Zoleo, make sure you find a satellite communicator that works best for you. And the final game changer for me is more of a philosophy than anything else, and that's realizing I don't have to hike 15 to 20 miles to be considered a backpacker. I don't have to do 4 or 5 days per trip to consider it a backpacking trip. Realizing that an overnight backpacking trip can be one of the most fun things that I can do was huge for me. My first just overnight backpacking trip was with Jason Waugh from Backpacking with Jason. He took me out to Hanson's Point for the first time. And I'd always taken these 2, 3, 4 day trips. I'd never taken a trip where I'd just gone overnight. And getting out on that overnight trip and realizing that sometimes you just need to get away for a night. It doesn't make you not a backpacker. It doesn't mean you're not going to have fun. If anything, it just gives you a night of relaxation and enjoying the outdoors. Right now I'm on a 3-day trip, but I just took an overnight trip last Friday. And it was incredible. Got to hang out with a good friend of mine. Mark goes hiking, and just had an awesome time hanging out with him and his family and friends. Don't feel like backpacking is only for thru hikers. That is a segment of backpacking. Once I realized that I don't have to be a thru hiker to be a backpacker, that changed everything for me. And now I just enjoy getting out. It doesn't matter when, where, how, or why. It's just good for me to be able to get out into the woods and just enjoy being outside. So what about you guys? What are some pieces of gear or philosophies or pre-trail things that have become game changers for you? What are the things that make getting out on the trail so much better? What are you doing? Leave those in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm know that this video is worth talking about. Also, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. and hit the bell notification so you find out anytime one of these videos drops. And until next time, stay strong, hike long, and I'll catch you on the next go around.